If you like the video, then please consider supporting Slope's Game Room on Patreon.
I wanna take you for a ride.
We all have the ability to start a crowdfunding campaign, the ability to make a video and sell our brilliant idea to the world. And although sometimes that works out pretty great, other times not so much. And today it's finally time to do a whole video based on food, glorious food, and drinks. These are the sort of campaigns I see when my wife takes control of my Kickstarter account, and in all honesty, there are actually some incredible food and drink related campaigns out there. But as you may have guessed, I'm not interested in the good ones. Oh no. Today's video is based on food and drink related campaigns that all hit their goal and then all went well past their sell by date, going completely rancid. We have all heard of the crazy popularity of the potato salad guy who managed to rake in $55,492 of a $10 goal, who by the way actually offered a potato salad book after the campaign got popular for backers of $50 or more, which he never delivered on. Tut. And then you've got the already talked about female injected beer created using the yeast from... I'm not saying it again, guys. I actually got demonetized for the longest time last time because of that. There's a card up there if you want to go see it. But as a quick update, although the Indiegogo campaign was a failure, it actually had an outside investor come in after I made that video and put the money forward so you can actually go and buy wholesale quantities of, that female beer I once spoke about. Should we just move on? Let's just move on. Hi everyone, I'm DJ Slope from Slope's Game Room, and this is For Disgusting Food and Drink Kickstarter Failures. When you back a Kickstarter, what are you actually doing? Are you backing an idea? Are you part of a team? Or are you literally purchasing goods? Sadly, everyone has a different opinion, and although the truth really is that you are indeed putting your money into an individual and hoping that that person or persons can actually fulfill on their promises, when you actually look at these crowdfunding websites, you wouldn't be foolish in thinking that they're nothing more than catalogues full of cool crap that you don't normally see in the shops. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is U-Bruu, the ultimate beverage bar. It's easily one of the more interesting devices that I honestly would love to have in my studio for whenever I have my next WarioWare Smooth Move drinking night. It's essentially a mini bar for your house. It stores your drinks, keeps them cool, and it even lets you mix in other flavours so that you can get ready and have a fight after you've had a few pints of snakebite. And if you don't know what snakebite is, well, you're the lucky one. So yeah, honestly, this one does look fine. The LCD screen is just a simple sticker, as you can see on certain shots of this trailer. And really, guys, that's the problem. It's a prototype. What you believe that you're seeing here doesn't actually exist. Even though the campaign needed 39,000, it easily hit that when 178 backers got it all the way up to a mouth-watering $64,898 again for a prototype. And this is my biggest problem with crowdfunding websites, that they are in fact a little bit deceiving. You think you're buying this, something that looks like the final product, but actually you're investing in this guy, George Bruton, whose previous company, if you didn't know, School Live, provides what are essentially massive screens that kids can interact with in schools on their phones, that not only double as an important message board, but also an advertising board selling, well, whatever advertisers want to put on there. Plus, this information on the students did get fed back to the military for, even more tailored ads. The whole idea didn't exactly go down too well, as reports suggested that taxpayers' money, which was being spent on kids spending time in school, really should never be sold to advertisers. And regardless of whatever you think, it does paint a picture into the person that you would be investing in when you try and get your carbonated beverages on tap in your house. which is why, for me, it came as no surprise when I found out that the whole company eventually ended up being sold, or at least was in talks of being sold, to an unknown buyer. What the hell happened to the $65,000 raised on this campaign? I don't know. That's the new buyer's problem to deal with, not George's. The whole thing was painted up as a way to get the product into more consumers' hands and even add a few extra features. But, you know, let's be honest, $65,000 raised on a campaign and a buyout of a buzzing new company does sound pretty appealing for George. Did this sale ever go through? Probably not. As of November 16th, 2017, the very latest update, it reads that due to a pending sale, the engineer who designed the U-Bruu has held the design hostage and demanded much more money than we were contracted for, which he was paid in full. To me, this is a perfect example of making sure you do your homework on the sort of person that you're backing, because this is literally the greedy trying to outsmart the greedy and nothing more. There's nothing that ever got finished here, and all you have are hundreds of angry backers who are begging for a response or an update on a product that are most definitely never gonna receive it. Ladies and gentlemen, do your homework. One thing you're going to notice with all of these food related campaigns is that they all gained a stupid amount of money, and although nothing tops the percentage gained over the asking price of the very next spot, old Eric Norman, the guy behind the Cinder Grill, had a bloody good stab at it, gaining a whopping 786% of his goal, which totaled $550,757. So, what is it? Well, it's a grill. A really good one. That's so good that even people like Leon Draiman, the inventor of the George Foreman, was a big fan of. This Cinder Grill was different than standard grills because it had precise software, engineering, blah blah blah. You know, all the usual gumph they put in these videos, which basically means that the grill can cook your food to an exact temperature within the realms of 1 degree. As well as alert you on your phone because, you know, everything needs Bluetooth nowadays when your food is done. I suppose explaining it like that, you know, I'm really not doing it justice. It may not sound like much, but as the video explains, apparently even restaurants can't do this. It's actually, by all accounts, a pretty solid product. Plus, slapping gorgeous succulent cuts of meat into the promotional video, well, that works for me. You got a great product, you got great reviews by reputable people, and a stupid amount more raised than originally requested. So, the big question on everybody's lips is, what went wrong? And the answer is everything. There were delays in the Chinese warehouses with faulty cooking plates, small completed batches being refused to leave said factories until full payments were placed. There's just so much wrong with this. And on top of it all, it was actually Future Shape, another company that ended up loaning Eric's startup, Pallet Home, a further $250,000 with the expected 5% interest added on return that you would expect, that actually ended up being the complete failure of the campaign. Most startup companies don't know the exact figure that they need, and this was absolutely no exception. The product was plagued with all the usual missteps that new companies make, and the original loaner even ended up taking them to court and won their full $294,736 back, plus an extra $999 in fees, resulting in one deadpan project. This is a weird one. Obviously, it's incredibly sad to see close to 1,000 backers have to lose out on hundreds of dollars, and almost all of them get nothing in return, as Eric actually ended up going bankrupt himself over the whole thing. But to make it even worse, like I said, this one isn't a shoddy product. It's actually a good one that practically no one's going to be able to experience. And if there is any good to see in all of this, Eric is actually fairly active to this day in the comments section, answering people's queries and explaining how he plans to sell the rest of what most people believe is actually a good business plan so he can give back to all of those people that invested into him. He seems like an honest guy who made a pretty big mistake doing what he can to pay back what he owes. But will he be able to do it? Only time will tell. I love me some awesome beef jerky. It's hard to find good beef jerky in the UK, but you can bet your bottom dollar that I will always be slapping down money whenever I visit the States. Oh yes, beef jerky, I love it. And if I'm going to be honest, the world's first 100% Japanese Kobe beef jerky made from beer-fed cattle, wet, aged and infused with sweet and savoury gourmet flavours. Oh well, sign me up. Or don't, because not only is beef jerky supposed to be made with meat that has no fat on it, you know, to stop it going rancid, and Kobe beef is one of the fattiest meat cuts that you can get, it's probably not a good idea, is it? Oh yeah, and also, guys, it's an absolute scam, so, you know, there's that too. Asking for a humble $2,374 before gaining... wait for it, $120,309 from 3,252 backers. This project financially did bloody well. Damn, that's a lot of beef jerky fans. Heck, even the page itself had some rather impressive reviews from, well, strangely, from people that love it so much they decided to text in.
Yo, you dudes, just got rushed by hungry music fans and you ain't even got a guitar, lol. Plus, that Kobe was dope. Plus, props. One love, KC. If that's for sale, we want an LB for the tour. Let me know.
My boyfriend licked that brown sugar flavor off my fingers. We're looking for you, mister. We want more. What is the name of that meat?
This is beyond beef jerky. This is gourmet. Oh my god, I'm licking my fingers in public. I'm so great jerky.
Well, I've been a chef for 8 years, and I gotta tell you that the smoked honey curry is a bold move that paid off. This is outstanding flavor.
Hey buddy, this is Austin, Texas. We have tons of jerky around here, but that Kobe Red is next level. Amazing!
If you ask me, the real draw here is that these interesting sounding exclusive flavors were actually really cheap. Everything from $7, which will get you an ounce, and $100, which will get you every different flavor, resulting in 12 ounces. But guys, this is where the cracks started to show. $7 for a very specific type of specialist Japanese black meat? That's cheap. I mean, yeah, I can see the appeal of why one of the top 3 brands of meat would sell well, but surely it would cost a lot more than $7 an ounce. Of course it would, but hold up. You see, we are in fact getting a little ahead of ourselves here, Kickscammer fans, because if we actually go back to the beginning of this Kickstarter's failure, we actually need to look at this, a completely different Kickstarter. This is Kickstarted, a successful Kickstarter documentary movie that was based around the struggles of putting your social media self on the line when creating these campaigns. Like I said, it was a success, and the movie is actually damn good. For those that want to watch it, there'll be a juicy fat cut in the description for you to go and check it out yourselves for free. Anyway, before it got made during the pre-production days of the movie, the team discovered the Kobe beef crowdfunder and thought to themselves, you know what? This meaty Kickstarter is prime material for our movie. So they contacted the page owner, one Magnus Fun Inc., and sadly, they got turned down to meet and interview the team in person. However, the Kobe Beef crew did insist on sending over some footage of an event that they was present at where people actually got to try the jerky, even though this was never what they asked for in the first place, and then very quickly ran to update their fans that this was going to be going ahead. This is all a little bit strange and stupid, because after claiming that they was going to be in this Kickstarted film, which, that was never actually agreed on, the Kickstarted crew then had to publicly comment that this would likely not happen. But still, thank you very much for the much needed plug. Now, the big twist in this story wasn't the fact that Magnus Fun Inc. jumped the gun to tell people that they was going to be in a movie that was never agreed on. The real juicy meat of the story actually came from when backers saw this strange update and decided to contact the Kickstarted team themselves to showcase a few weird and unexplained issues with the Kobe beef page. I just realised that this is all probably quite confusing. Are all of you guys up to date? Yeah? Backers from this campaign found a few issues with it and reported them privately to the guys running this one. So, what were those issues, and what did Jay and Jason, the clever documentary makers, discover? Well, firstly, the name Magnus Fun Inc. was not a registered Californian-based company, which obviously it was claiming to be. The email address given for the page was actually used to register a now defunct website called youhadme.com. Thanks to the Wayback Machine, the only catcher of the website from back in May of 2013, just before the campaign went live, shows right on the front page the name Stanley Owens. Stanley Owens was a name that was pretty active in defending the Magnus Fun Inc. company, and a name that most definitely was in fact connected in some way to this project, although obviously he never admitted this. The Amazon payments attached to the project also were going to another person called Toejam Earl. Who's this? Well, he's actually a musician who just so happens to have the exact same address as the one found on that front page of that saved Wayback Machine site for Stanley Owens. Everything started to connect here, guys. There was plenty of other issues too, such as all the people defending the meaty treats only seeming to hang around on the Kickstarter page itself, and they were all fairly new accounts and only ever backed projects that were very obviously going to fail. And when trying to look up these people outside of the walls of Kickstarter, you could never find them. In fact, nobody has ever even tried this luxurious treat at all, and the Ink and Iron Festival, where the treats were supposedly given out as samples, did confirm that these Kobe beef jerky idiots didn't even attend. And finally, you know me, it's all about the video, which is of course completely crap. Full of nothing but random, from what I can assume, Google ripped stock images of meat and no real images of anything that could possibly be found of a final product. Not bad going, guys. The craziest thing about all of this is that all of the information that I am laying out to you actually came from the Kickstarted documentary makers Reddit post, whilst this Kobe beef jerky page was still live and has less than 90 minutes left to go before it was able to take away $120,309 that it had most definitely scammed out of all of those jerky lovers. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the outcome was awesome. For almost 30 days to the hour up to this point, Magnus Fun Inc. almost got away with it, and less than 2 hours before the end, Kickstarter sussed it out and suspended the entire project. There was no bloody beef jerky, everything up to this point was a lie, and in those final hours all of the backers that were discovering the Kickstarted Reddit post were running to the comments section where old Stanley Owens and Toejam Earl frantically tried to reply with all of these fake accounts as much as possible, pleading people to keep their pledges. The thought of them going mental, screaming at each other, frantically trying to fix these issues is brilliant in my mind. The campaign had been live for 718.5 hours up to this point, and they just needed to reassure people not to run away within the last 90 minutes before it ended. Obviously you can't see any of these comments now as the douche faces actually ended up deleting all of the fake accounts, but it's still fun to see how frantically they was trying to save what they were so close to achieving. And very best of all, if it wasn't for the awesome guys who eventually made this excellent documentary, none of this would have ever been uncovered. And the Kickstarted project actually became a lot more popular as news stories spread across the internet telling the Kobe beef jerky story. And the day that Kobe Red closed the doors on the 13th of June 2003, that Kickstarted project still had just over 2 weeks to go in a project that even still looked like it was actually going to fail. Yes, they did get a nice boost from all of this publicity, but the real salt rub into the beefy wounds would be when the Kobe guys came back, opening even more fake Kickstarter accounts as they tried to sabotage the documentary by putting down massive pledges with those fake accounts, such as Quinton, TTO, 4Q and a friend of Q, which they was obviously going to pull as the campaign ended. This was made obvious when those hardcore pledgers started posting some rather negative comments on the campaign. Idiots! Would you ever slag off a project owner after dropping $9,000 3 times in a row? What a bunch of wallies! They completely outed themselves. So after seeing this and very easily working it all out, the Kickstarted team came back again to Reddit for help, which gave them even more publicity, and they just made it. Bloody hell. What a roller coaster ride. 2 guys that ended up making an awesome Kickstarter documentary that was very likely originally going to fail and ended up actually being saved by 2 guys that were only an hour or so away from fully ripping money off from 3,252 backers that just fancied some exotic tasting dried meat. Oh, what a couple of jerks. What actually is in your food? That's the big question. We live in a world where people are obsessed with calorie intake, and those little football manager looking timetables on the back of what you're about to eat is normally the go-to place for people that actually care about this sort of stuff. Which is why Speck have actually come to the rescue with a little device that, when almost or completely pushed up against your food, will give you all of the relevant details regarding it via Bluetooth on your phone. Seriously, that ain't half bad. Asking for $100,000 and gaining $386,392 from 1,765 backers, it was destined to succeed, right? No, this thing doesn't even exist. It's completely bogus again. Founded by Isabel Hoffman, who was most known for selling anti-aging medicine, all of the claims that this company put forward were extremely far-fetched by scientists, and from the get-go, a lot of people believed that it was just a blatant scam, as something like this, if it could be made at all, would only work if the device was a hell of a lot bigger. The product was never scientifically tested, only ever internally tested 3 times, and on top of that, all it ever did was just detect what the food actually was, which it got correct 97.7% of the time. After commenters from places like Reddit and the campaign owner's own comments section started to raise questions as to whether the campaign video was real or fake, the company finally added the following disclaimer. The device shown in the video is a 3D model representing the future industrial design of the Speck scanner. This is not a working device and is being used solely for the purpose of demonstration. However, even with all of this, it still hit its goal. That was back in 2013. Now, it's almost 2019, and they still haven't sussed out how to make it. They quickly realised that something like this just wasn't possible. Sure, new products hit bumps in the road, but guys, this isn't a new product, it's an idea. Just like my idea for a scanner that makes broccoli taste like chocolate. Heck, they're both great ideas, amazing ideas. That is if they work, which they obviously don't, and they won't, at least for a very, very long time. And to think, it only cost close to $400,000 to work that out. Good going, guys. Hey there guys, thanks for checking out the video. I want to give a big special shout out to all of my patrons, but an extra big special shout out goes to the people that helped make this video. You got Johnny Nickpick, you got Ashins, you got Octavius, and of course you got Larry Bundy Jr. So anyway, back to those patrons with a big special shout out going to that retro video gamer, Ryan Burford, Gary Pinkett, Andrew Dalton, who actually helped make this episode, Aaron McNamara, Tomek Grabowski, Christopher Turnbull, Brent Craft, Ben Jackson, Ian A. Chapman, Phil Lowlands, Tim Labonte, Mike Fallon, Retro to Next Gen, Quang DX, Tim Lunn, Shinobi, Hernandez, Pixels.Limited, aka Samuel Victor, Red the Beard, Conrad Constantine, Potendo 64, Karimi Elephant, James Loveridge, Casey Garner, Blitz, Hedgie, Ben Hall, Savage Gaming Show, Brian Rawson, Gemma at Mr. T's Shirts, Solix Captor, Jeremy Rodriguez, Nick Pollard, Baran Perez, Garrett Legion, Marcus King, Emo Cut, Tyndall, June, Rob Jenkins, The Geeky Dad, Richard Carter, aka Fantastic Dizzy, Todd Paul, Float G, and Petty Mew. If you want to get your name shouted out, get your name shown, come and see what I'm working on, and all of the other awesome stuff that all of these patrons get to experience on a, every other day basis at the moment, then please click the link that you see on the screen. Don't forget to subscribe, give it a thumbs up, a thumbs down, whatever you prefer. But for now, this is DJ Slope signing out, and hopefully I'll see you all next time.